Mark, are you staying warm?
I am by. It's cold here, but it's colder in other places.
What are you from Cape Breton now?
I don't know. I just seemed like the right thing to say.
Okay. So here we go again. Well into the 70s, I think, in the number of episodes that we're.
It's very cool. I know what our topic of the conversation is today, so I thought I've actually got a really direct question for you.
Okay.
Because I think most people have an answer to this. Who is your favorite Greek god?
My favorite Greek god. Who's that one that showed up in that Star Trek episode?
That's Apollo.
No. Okay. Yeah, no, not going to go with. And, I'm going to get my Roman gods and my Greek gods mixed up. And Hercules was only half a god, wasn't he?
He's a demigod, yeah. I mean,
he's a demigod.
I would accept it, but,
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go
really.
With Athena was Greek, right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, the goddess of wisdom, I believe.
Wisdom and warfare.
Yeah.
And craft as well.
Oh, see, perfect. What an amazing combination.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go with Athena.
Yeah, I would have said Athena too, but I recently heard the story of Ariadne, which is the spider story. So Ariadne was a human who was amazing at the loom, and she could create wonderful things at the loom. And she was so good, she said that she was even better than Athena.
Ooh.
And then Athena came down and basically said, I'm going to butcher this myth, but Athena came down and basically said, that is not true, but you can try and prove it. And so they have a contest. Okay. And Ariadne actually wins the contest. And as a reward, Athena turned her into a spider. So henceforth, the spider is always able to craft these amazing webs.
So would this be considered a mean thing for Athena to have done?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I don't think Ariadne was expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to decide. Like maybe Athena meant it as a compliment. I mean, all of the Greek gods are horrible in their own special way. Yeah, that's true.
She's a pretty good choice.
All right. So what about you then? Before we turn it to
I think Athena. I mean, I would have said Athena for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As a lock, just because she's the god of the intellect as well as everything else that the Greek gods are up to, and she's not as rapey as most of the other ones.
Oh my goodness!
So I love Zeus. Zeus has got a playful side to him, but he's just hella rapey, so you can't go with Zeus.
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I thought maybe our guest might have an answer that might be less.
Miriam Schulman, and I realized I should have asked the pronunciation of your name before we begin this. Do I have it correct?
You do. It is Schulman. So when you guys started talking, I immediately thought Athena, but then when you both picked it, I was like, I can't say that. It's so boring. But I'm a nerd here. I'm assuming we'd all be in Ravenclaw too. Because we all care about wisdom, that's our highest value.
I did the quiz, but I came out. What's the one that Harry was in?
He was Gryffindor, wasn't he?
Gryffindor, yeah. I came out Gryffindor because I scored a bit higher on the loyalty, bravery thing. But yeah.
Are you sure about the Ariadne? Because isn't she the woman who...
I could have used the wrong name. Oh my God, that's correct.
The heroine.
That's the heroine of Theseus.
Of The King Must Die. She gets left on the island.
Arachne.
Oh, and that makes more sense because
we get the word arachnid from. Yes. My apologies, everyone. Everyone was screaming at their devices the whole time I was saying Ariadne. But Ariadne, Arachne, they're pretty close.
So yeah, Miriam, you're going with Athena as well?
Gosh. Yeah, I might have to, but we can go with demigods. Will you take Circe?
I'd take Circe. Sure, why not?
Okay, I'm going with her.
Yeah, she's
especially
powerful.
In Madeline Miller's version, which, since we're talking about the Greek, what are we calling this? Constellation of books.
Mythos, yes.
The constellation of books around Greek. I kind of did a big fat Greek summer reading project.
Oh, awesome.
Where I nerded out and I did Mary Renault, which we're talking about today. I read both Madeline Miller books. And then I also read, there's a Silence of the Girls, which is the Iliad, but told from the woman's point of view.
Ooh, that'd be grim.
Yeah.
It's
super rapey.
They
called it a rape camp.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
it's awful.
Oh my God. Okay. Now, before we get too far on though, let's explain to everyone who you are. Now, many people may already know who you are. And so I hope I have this all correct. You are a classically trained artist and art historian who traded a lucrative career in high finance for the studio. And you become a bit of a leading voice for the Artpreneur movement, helping creatives make a sustainable living without losing their soul, and the author of the HarperCollins book, Artpreneur.
Okay, it's mostly right. So I actually didn't go to art school. I did study art history, but my mother, because my father passed away when I was young, my mother did not want me to become an artist. So I showed her and became one anyway.
Yeah.
Right, without the training. But yeah, pretty much everything else is right. Yeah, I haven't always been an artist, and because I didn't believe you could make a living that way. And I took the practical route and went to Wall Street. But after 9/11 happened, I decided that wasn't for me.
Do you mind if I ask you what happened? Like, were you affected by that directly, or because apparently you did work in those buildings, right?
I did. I was in the building when the 93 bombing happened, because that's how old I am. So I was working in Severn World Trade when the power went out, and we didn't really have cell phones then, at least most of us didn't. And I walked up 37 flights of stairs to return to my desk to look out and see, oh, it's not a Con Ed failure. A bomb went off in the Trade Center. People were smashing the buildings and smoke coming out of the towers. But everybody in my office was just working at their desk, like as if nothing was happening. So when 9/11 did happen, I had that flashback to that moment, like, oh yeah, if I was working in this tower, I would have been one of those people who are dead now. So that's why it was particularly personal for me.
Right. Yeah, understandable. Okay, so that triggered a major shift in your life.
Yeah.
And you went towards much more towards the creative side.
Yeah, I took it as a sign for the universe not to do corporate Wall Street anymore.
Which must have been something that you'd been kind of leaning toward. Do you think if 9/11 hadn't happened that you wouldn't have gone that route?
So I had to actually taken a break from Wall Street anyway, because I was pregnant with my second child and I was kind of disillusioned with it. So it's possible I probably would have gone that route anyway. But it was just when that happened, it was like, it's like the do not pass, do not go back. So I probably would have gone towards art anyway, but it was just that crossing of the threshold moment that I could not go back when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
That hero's journey of like that moment in time.
I understand that completely, because I had that, and I don't have the same connection you had with the place. I just watched it like everyone else did. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go back to my full-time job. I'm going to quit that so I have more time to write.
Wait a minute. This is something that I never knew this about you. 911 had that impact on you?
Yeah, it had the same impact on me, because it's like, yeah, you never know. I mean, mortality I was aware of, but you never know. It could end any moment. And I really wasn't happy in my job. And so I had a full-time corporate communications type gig. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to give that up. And I did. And no, I ended up teaching to make a living. I didn't miraculously somehow make a living off my art. But yeah, unlike you, Miriam, not miraculous. Obviously, you worked very hard for it. But
and we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So yeah, I had the same kind of insight, that same moment where it's like, yeah.
I think a lot of people did. There's been a few like collective trauma moments that have led people to make those similar decisions. So 9/11 is one. The AIDS crisis is another.
Yeah.
And obviously the pandemic, which we've all recently gone through. That's why we had the Great Resignation. There was millions of people walked away from their jobs, because there's nothing like a crisis to lift the veil over what's not working in your life. And that could be a global thing, but it also could be a personal crisis, like a diagnosis or a partner's illness or a divorce, something of that nature.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that this is a decision that you have not regretted.
Oh, yeah, no. have not at all. It was not completely linear. Like on day one, I wasn't making art for the day I made that decision. I mean, I was making art, but I wasn't making a living from my art on day one. So
Right.
it's taken time.
And yet you took eventually a lot of what you had, your financial skills, I think, and then applied them to the creativity very successfully, I think, later.
Yeah, it's more like a mindset of how I think, if I were to think about what was my greatest lesson on Wall Street, was less about what I was doing in terms of the finance there, but just understanding how rich people think. So that's really what I teach my clients now is like, what attracts a luxury buyer.
Oh, I see. How rich people think in terms of spending their money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Rich loves crazy.
Yeah. And does that cause you any discomfort at any point? Because we had Gerard Pa on the podcast, I think in our first season. It's all blurred to me now, but he's quite a wonderful artist who lives here in London, Ontario, a Dutch artist. And he's always had this discomfort he's kind of a socialist. He's always had this discomfort of like, yeah, I can't sell my art to other socialists. I have to sell it to fabulously wealthy people. And he's always had this kind of like tension with that. Does it bother you at all? Or are you just accept the world as it is?
For me, it was learning how to set really good boundaries around people's entitlement. Setting boundaries are a really good lesson for me to learn personally anyway. And that's something I've always said, that building a business is the best form of self-development you can do. So like I really needed to work really hard on my boundary setting. Like, no, you can't treat me this way. So that was where I would have a trouble with.
Can you elaborate on that? Because it sounds like there's some stories behind
some wisdom people can get from that too, I think.
Oh yeah, the one that's popping into my head right now is, so I mostly made my art career around being a portrait artist. So I would be invited to somebody's home to do the photo shoot for my portrait, and even though this may be the same town that I live in, it was like, no, you need to use the side entrance. Like that way of being treated like you're the help. Oh. We're not equals. And I remember this one particular client, we spent a lot of time choosing the outfits out. So, and I was complaining to my therapist about this whole thing. And she says, well, you have very detailed about what you're charging once you begin, but you really need to be charging for that session as well. So things became more time bound in my contracts. Like, yes, we do this consultation and whatever it was, and it's 45 minutes and then it's X dollars per hour after that. Yes, the children must have their hair clean and dry when I show up to do the photo shoot. If I'm sitting around waiting for you to dry and fix their hair, the clock's ticking. So those types of things that were then built into my contracts, that people can act like jerks as much as they want, but there was a consequence to it.
A jerk surcharge. Yeah,
exactly. Nice.
Right.
Right. And people respond really well to that because then they behave. Money makes people behave better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we get too far along, we know that you have picked out some really intriguing art.
Yeah, I really want to talk about it.
And so we'll get back to, because I want to get back to all of this, but we'll make the connection between the art that you have chosen and your own work. Would you mind introducing that for us?
Yeah, I think there's a great bridge right here, because Mark said that he's read The King Must Die, which is the
which
the
is
prequel.
Probably why I kept saying Ariadne.
Yes, correct.
It was in my head. It was stuck in my head. Yeah,
correct.
Instead of Arachne. Yeah.
And we will make sure the people listening get kind of like the 2-cent version of the book, so they're not completely lost.
Sure.
So this is really the Theseus story with Ariadne. So that's the guy who goes and slays the Minotaur, and Ariadne is the princess who cheats and helps him get through the maze and blah, blah, blah. So part 2, The Bull from the Sea, it's part two of the story, but this is really the consequences. So in Mary Renault's version, Theseus is not such a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not really a great guy in the real version either. I mean, he leaves Ariadne on an island after she helps him. I mean, talk about avoidant male psychology. It's like fear of commitment. So it's like, yeah, I'm done with her. Let's just leave her on this island here. So part two, The Bull from the Sea, is all about consequences.
You know, in your email to us, I loved how you described it. Well, the way you put it was somebody dealing with, it's like the resolution of the story has happened and now living with the aftermath.
Yes, consequences.
Yes. Yeah. Which is, you don't see much. So.
Yeah.
But there's some new stuff too, though, isn't there? Like, doesn't he go to the Amazons and woo Hippolyta, and doesn't that happen?
Yes.
Or does that not happen?
Yes, but there's still, okay. So part one, he's this young guy. He's hot. He leads everyone. He's a womanizer.
He can hear when an earthquake's coming because Poseidon is somehow related to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he follows every loophole. Like, this is the thing. This is the difference between really Greek and then the monotheistic religions, like Judaism, Christianity, is with the Greeks. Like, yeah, if they wanted to do something naughty, it was like, oh, well, there's a god of the wine, there's a god of sex. So I'm just following this god now. So that was the whole thing with Judeo-Christian thought. It's like, no, there's only one God. You can't get all these loopholes. So he's womanizing. That's part one. But in part two, like you said, he meets the love of his life.
Right.
And they have a child, son, and he cannot wrap his head around his son who chooses to live a chaste life. Here he was a womanizer. He said, when I was your age, I had kids your age. Like I there was like a kid in every village that this guy had, and he just couldn't wrap his head around that. Like, that he could have a son that would be pure, and that ends up leading to his downfall because he doesn't quite grasp that his son, he said, what I said, I would give the 2-cent version to our listeners if we didn't read the book. I think that's your job, Mark. Are you
well, I haven't actually read this one, so I would just be going off of my half-baked memory of the mythology. Because doesn't he have his? Because he's got Piriththeros. Is that the name of his buddy? He's a pirate, and they go off and have adventures together. Because I incorporated that into my second novel. Which is called Marvelous Harry, and it's a remash of A Midnight Summer's Dream, but one of the characters' name is Theseus, so I kind of ran with that. And Hippolyta is a character, and so she's based on Hippolyta, the mythological character, not the character from the play. And I did include Piriththeros because he's an interesting character.
Yeah,
like he's a bad boy.
Yeah, so. In the beginning of Bull from the Sea, he's hanging out with his pirate buddy, and I was like, "Oh, here's Theseus, the warrior." And by the end of the book, he's like this middle-aged guy, like the stereotypical guy who's running around in his red Mustang. Because toward the end of the book, they're not calling him Theseus the hero. They're like, it's Theseus the pirate. And it's like, oh my God, that's what I am now. I'm the pirate. Ugh. So.
Okay, so now how does this relate to, now I know that we forced you to pick this because that's what we do.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we forced people to.
Yeah, you're not married to it, by the way. We can go to other books now too. If you want.
Yeah.
No, I prepared how things relate.
Yeah.
So we can go whatever direction you want.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So make that connection for us.
So it's about consequences then, obviously.
So that was my bridge, though, from what we were talking to prior. But what I think it really is for me with the Theseus story. So Mary Renault, she tells the stories, both stories, not as if there's magic in them, like these are gods with real powers. And when I first started reading The King Must Die, I didn't like that because I am all in on magical worlds. I don't know if you can tell because I have so many Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter references. Like, I'm all in on magic.
Great.
But then once I understood what she was doing, she was writing it as if, no, this really happened. And how did Theseus create a mythology around himself.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's something we do.
Yeah.
as
That's what's brilliant
artists.
about that book too. It really is brilliant the way she's done it. She
Yes.
took a mythology and she humanized it, and she placed it in a sort of anthropological study, essentially. Like, some of the scenes are really interesting because, like, you read it, you go, well, that's freaking weird, but okay, I know humans are weird, and we've done strange things like that, like some of the cults and stuff that he encounters.
Oh, yeah, that stuff
It's
is
really,
weird.
if anyone listening hasn't read it, The King Must Die has to be on your reading list, and I guess the Ball from the Sea does as well.
Yeah. And it's just for the sake of those listening in their cars and whatnot. What is the name of the author again?
Mary Renault is how you pronounce it, but it looks like Renault, Renault.
We're in a French-speaking country. We'll figure it out.
All the Canadian listeners know what you're talking about, but the American listeners are like, "What? Oh, thank you for spelling that." Yeah,
but now you guys have actually done. So I admitted to Miriam at the beginning before we started recording that I hadn't read it, and as usual, Mark is so sophisticated that he's read everything and knows everything.
Well, I haven't read the Ball from the Sea, which, yeah,
you didn't have to admit that. But anyway, you guys have done a great job of selling it. So now I have to add it to my massive reading pile. Thanks a lot. Along with Miriam's own books.
Yeah.
But okay, so now let's get back to your work. So you had the career in finance, and you always kind of had the artistic work going on as well. But then you did that pivot to the creative life, but then eventually married the creative life to your financial work. Can you tell us about that?
So do you mean how I'm a coach now? Is that what you mean? Or just how I'd be able to be successful as an artist?
What interested me was that you had, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but my understanding is that a bit of the focus is on how you can actually be financially successful as an artist, and nothing to be ashamed of, and it's something you should aspire to. And just before you answer that, I'll just say that this is a subject that has come up on this podcast because we're creatives, we're writers, we have books out. I recently started a publishing company, so I thought it was really interesting what you said about, one of the best things you can do is start your own company, because I've been beginning to doubt that. So
having your own business is the best self-development work anybody could ever do.
Yeah. So I would love to hear more about that and your thoughts around being financially successful as an artist.
Okay. So when I first decided, okay, there's no way I'm going back to Wall Street, let's take that off the table. I still needed to make money. And I took a job as a Pilates instructor. And while I was working for the gym, they taught me how to sell personal training packages, because that's really the meat and potatoes for most gyms are those upsells. Right. So when they were teaching me these methods, I was like, oh, wait, I'm not that interested in selling personal training packages, but I can use these methods to sell my portraits. Okay. So that was my aha moment, that these sales techniques could be used to sell anything, including art. So that was over 25 years ago. And then about when I started my podcast, which was 2018, people started asking me, to share my story. People started asking me, can you teach us how to do it too? So I know what worked for me doesn't just work for me. It's worked for lots of other artists that I've taken over the 6-figure mark.
Gee, I'm not even sure which direction I want to go.
I first of all want to categorize, so you can tell I teach in a library and information science program. I want to categorize the kinds of artists that you teach, and the ones who are able to make 6 figures. Because I know in writing, it's very difficult to get to that point, the way that the economics of it work. So what other artists what kind of artists are we talking about?
That's a great question. So the artists that I help are all visual artists.
Yes. Okay.
So not just painters, though. One of my clients makes headdresses for Mardi Gras. So she made $30,000 in the last 5 months. So she's well on her way to that 6-figure mark as well.
And sculptors. Do you have any sculptors that you?
We do.
Yeah,
we do have sculptors in the program. We have fiber artists. We have photographers. We have digital artists.
So this is an art form that you can, I'm guessing the secret here is that you can find a patron, in the sense that you can find someone with enough money that they can afford to pay quite a bit of money for some piece of art that they connect with and they love.
There's lots of people who are willing to pay
Yeah.
lots of money for art.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier, the weirder the better. So one of the best ways to, and this part is true for writing as well. We said Rich loves crazy, right? So in Miami Basel Art Week, there were these robot dogs. Did you hear about this?
Yes. Yeah.
I did not, so I need to know about this. Robot dogs, I'm all in.
Okay,
Well, I love dogs and I love robots.
I mean, it could be robot monkeys. That'd be the only way be better.
So people made a dog park where he put these robot dogs in there. So they were dogs, and they had heads of tech titans. So Elon Musk and
Okay, yeah.
Mark,
Zuckerberg.
Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. And then I think he also put in Picasso and Andy Warhol and himself. And these robot dogs, they would run around, but then every once in a while they would go into poop mode. So they would crouch down, and there was like a Polaroid camera, and I guess in the front, and it would poop out a Polaroid. And then these were sold as NFTs. So he priced these robot dogs at $100,000 each, and all of them sold out in the first day. So that's $500,000 in pooping robot dogs.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in the wrong line of business, Joe.
Yeah. So then, because I'll be honest with you, a part of my thinking over the last few years, and maybe you can set me straight on this, was wrapping my head around the fact that I do my writing and create my books, and I'm helping other people now write and publish their books basically for the love of doing it, for the joy of doing it, and divorcing that from the financial side. Like this podcast, for example, this is not a sponsored podcast. We've never been focused on making money for it. We're just interested in talking to people like you, and we enjoy it. And we have had day jobs, that have given us enough money so that we can pursue this stuff without really worrying too much about the money. Is that the wrong attitude?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a loaded
question.
Tough
question. That's a tough question.
I wouldn't say that it's the wrong attitude, because there is, for many artists, needs to be that time where their art business is a baby, and it's not going to support you as a baby. So I don't think there's a shame in having a day job. You do move faster, though, if you are able to dedicate yourself full time to your craft and monetizing it.
Yeah, because I have to admit, and maybe I just have major blind spots around this, but the marketing and selling side of it largely eludes me. So I wonder if you could, what are your methods, and what have you learned, and what do you teach? If we can ask you that.
There's 5 parts which I go through in Artpreneur, and I'll go through now. And these foundations form the backbone of every business. So production, what are you producing? And it has to be something people want to buy. So I'll get an email from someone that says, I'm having trouble selling my art because I paint on rocks and people don't consider that real art. And I go, yeah. So that's production.
Pooping robots.
Well, okay.
Can the robot poop out the rock? That might be something.
Okay, so here's the thing: is people are buying meaning, not medium. Yeah. So you could sell a painted rock, but damn, that has to be a really, really interesting, clever painted rock for someone to be interested in something that's basically a paperweight.
Right. People are buying meaning, not medium. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, let's give an example from the commercial world. What's Nike selling? Are they selling sneakers? Well, yeah, but not really. They're selling motivation.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that because I remember Reebok had a series of ads, and I think, at least consciously, don't respond to ads, but I love their ads, and I must have loved the meaning of them, because then the only sneakers I bought were Reeboks for a while. Mm. So with your painting and your work, you were selling meaning as opposed to the medium of the art.
Okay, well that is like really where the messaging comes in, which I can tie it back to Mary Renault at any time. By the way, I'm like over prepared.
Please do.
Do it.
Okay, but I feel like we
Wow.
left a cliffhanger, so let me just clean that up.
Yeah,
so we have production, we have pricing. People have a lot of money mindset issues around pricing. Cheaper is not easier to sell. We can get in. That's a whole nother podcast episode. But first, you have to make sure you're selling the right thing, and then there's prospecting, building your audience, which is not relying on social media, certainly not in 2026. And next is, I needed a P, so it's promotion, but I mean selling. How are you selling it? Mm-hmm. And finally, productivity. And by productivity, it's what are the systems you have in place?
I love how you wrenched the P in there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's
it works though. It's
right.
Perfectly valid.
I need it. I like alliteration.
Synonym is perfectly valid.
Okay, so this has worked for your clients, many of your clients, except for the rock painted client.
Not a client.
Yeah.
Right.
Could it work for books and publishing?
Could it work for books and publishing? I mean, yes, it can. So, I mean, it depends. Like, so when you're helping people not with the traditional publishing, you're kind of doing a hybrid model with them?
No, we are strictly not hybrid. All the money goes to the writer.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I say I'm helping them, what I'm doing is it's kind of by invitation only at the moment. Although writers do come to us and we basically, help them make their book in the traditional sense as a traditional publisher, editing. The author doesn't pay anything. And then ultimately the book is created and then it's out to market. And then we pay traditional royalties.
Okay. Fabulous. I mean, I know from my experience, again, talking about what I'm really selling is my message. So for me as an author / artist / what everything else I do, for me, it's not important whether the person buys the book from me or gets it from the public library, because what's important to me is that they buy my message. When they've bought into my message, that's really how I make my money. So it's not off the sales of the book. And I think that may be true for many authors, whether their real income becomes their speaking career because now they have a new means of spreading their message, or like me, I'm coaching clients.
Yeah, I completely get that. So it's kind of like their brand. Authors I know that you would think are making a mint off their books have told me that really, they're making their money on speaking tours and other arrangements. Yeah. And even in my case, the offers I've come to, can you do this course? Can you deliver a lecture on such and such a thing? And then you can see where, I see. Okay. So that's a potential revenue stream and potentially even a greater revenue stream. But then I guess the danger becomes that overshadows your core work, maybe.
It can. Sometimes I found when I was writing my book, it was the other way around. My coaching business and my art business took a back seat to the writing process. So luckily I did get paid a nice advance. Right. Yeah. Because you are published with HarperCollins. Yes. Right? Can I ask what interests you most now about what you're doing? Because you've done the finance, you've done the art, written books, and then doing this coaching. Is it all of a piece, or is there a particular part that interests you most? Yeah, it's all very related. I'm not doing as much of the visual art as I did prior to writing the book. So once I read, writing the book really opened me up because, and you guys can tell me if you find this experience with writing, that I was able to channel ideas in a way that doesn't happen when I wasn't writing. So that whole process, to me, I fell in love with that. I do want to write another book. I've been spending the last 2 years working on a new process, a new framework, and that will be the foundation of the next book. So I do that in my coaching practice. So I'm really gathering up the research right now. So the book right now exists here. But for me, it has to exist here before it can go on the page.
You got to let your idea hamster have a go at it before you can actually start to write anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with my last book, it came, and not that it was so easy, like it came out of me, but it was more like childbirth.
Yeah.
Like
that's the first book.
Like,
that's a first book classically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's
blood
talk
involved to screaming. It's not easy. Yeah.
Lots of therapy. No, it was not easy. I almost gave my advance back several times during the process.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Even when it was finished and we were going through the copy edits, I was like, oh, no one in HarperCollins really even likes this book. I should just give back my advance.
So, first of all, it suggests a certain integrity for one thing. That
I don't know. It's like integrity or psychosis. I don't know. It has sold a lot of books. Like I've sold over 20,000.
Yeah, that's
units.
Great. Congratulations.
Not paperbacks, but like audiobooks, Kindles,
and same difference. Who cares?
Yeah.
I totally agree with your idea that it's the transition of the ideas that matter. It's the transition of what the message is that you're trying to get across. And I'm the same as you. I don't care if someone reads it from the library. I'm even, I don't like it when people have stolen the book. But even that, I'm like, well, at least they're interested enough to read the book and the ideas are out there. That does seem important to me. I mean, please guys, don't just authors don't get paid anything. So you're not you're not sticking it to the man when you pirate a book. Just if you don't want to pay for it, just go to the library and lend it from the library.
This podcast does not sanction stealing books.
But at the same time, it's important to me that if you're interested in my message, you read my message. So I get that. I think I really like that.
Give Mark a call at 555. So I'm interested in your writing process a little bit. So the act of writing helps you generate your ideas. You got to have the main concept in place first, but then the act of writing, you come up with stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not so much the writing itself that makes me come up with the ideas, but because I am pregnant with a book,
right?
Okay, using that same metaphor, that when I'm out in the world, suddenly I'll make a connection like that this gardening project here that I'm doing with my husband is a metaphor for something I'm trying to teach in the book.
Gotcha.
Like these types of ideas, they don't come to me except that I had this writing project.
And can I ask about your painting? Because I actually looked at some of them and I quite liked them. I mean, I enjoyed them a lot because I used to dabble in watercolors, and I'm very impressed that you can do a portrait in watercolor. That seems like technically a challenge to do that. How is painting watercolor different from writing? Like what's different in the process for you?
I can what's coming to my mind right now is what is the same actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
start with
sometimes if I'm in the zone and all of a sudden I'll look up and I'll be like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah. Okay.
So that same sort of feeling that it just was like channeling, like from the divine. That's
called flow. It's psychological terms. I think it's flow, but I like the fact that it's maybe coming from another place.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You're kind of a rare guest in a sense because you're a talented artist, and you're a writer, and you're an entrepreneur. It seems like you're kind of the entire package. I'm quite jealous, actually.
Triple threat.
Or a quadruple threat.
But she can't dance.
I can't tap dance.
Yeah. But now something else that you do, and I'm guessing do well, is that you podcast as well, right?
I do.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
I love that. So most of my creativity is going there these days, truth be told, since I'm not working. Like I said, I admitted I'm not really working on my visual art. I'm not currently actively working on my book. I'm trying to get pregnant with it. I'm kind of pregnant with it, but I haven't pitched an idea yet. So a lot of the creativity goes into my podcast, especially now that we've put it on YouTube. So I'm not doing the editing myself. I have a team who does it, but really there's so much of the art direction that goes into telling them how I want it to look, and I'll be reviewing the videos and shaping the ideas visually as well as what we're saying. And what I love about the YouTube community is it really is a community because with podcasting, they don't talk to you, but on YouTube they do. So you get comments and you can talk back to them. And I like that dialogue with the art, like having that dialogue with the artist.
I like that. One of my favorite podcasts these days is The Rest is History, which is history podcast. I mean, I'm a nerd. Yeah, I'll admit it. But we're
all nerds.
But they keep advertising. They advertise consistently throughout the podcast. They've got like a community. So one of the benefits of the community is you can join the Discord and talk with other nerds about this thing that you love. And it sounds like they're really engaged because, they have done podcasts based on what the community is talking about. So like, they have this sort of metaphor of World Cup. So they do the World Cup of best prime ministers, and it's a UK podcast, or the World Cup of Greek gods, actually, or gods, I think, all gods. So yeah, I like that idea of connecting with your listeners. We don't currently do that very well, do we, Joe?
No, well, there's probably lots of things that we don't do very well.
Well, I know there's lots of things I don't do well.
But I think our mistake, if you can call it that, is we do what we like. We do what we want to do.
That's true.
Yeah. But because so I'm guessing that you approach your podcast also with a little bit of an entrepreneurial mindset.
I do. And I pay attention to trends of what's happening. And right now I'm getting a bigger audience on YouTube than I am with just the audio podcast, which is not just for me. I mean, I think Jenna Kutcher announced recently she's stopping her podcast. Yeah. So I pay attention to things because I do rely on the income to support my art.
Yeah.
So the income from the coaching supports all these things that I'm doing artistically, and like you, Joe, and I get to help people at the same time, which is great. I get to help other artists, but I as I say to my clients, your art matters, and your art can only matter to people if they see it and know about it. And that's why marketing is so important.
Exactly.
So, because starving artists' art doesn't get seen or heard.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, if you're Van Gogh, eventually everyone knows about it.
Wait. Van Gogh had a sister-in-law who marketed the heck out of him. That's why he's famous now. Do you know that story?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But after he was dead.
Yes.
Yeah, because he only sold 3 paintings.
He hardly sold anything. When he was
alive. But if it wasn't for Joe Van Gogh, we wouldn't know about him either. It's not because his art was so revolutionary. It's because she created meaning around his art. I like to make things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Theseus did. He made things happen. And because I didn't get to make this point, and I really wanted to, I'm going to make it right now. Okay. So one of the things I love about the two books, if we're going to talk about both of them together, is Mary Renault asks in the book, not who am I, which is what a lot of books ask, but who can I get away with becoming? Because Theseus created his own myth. And what I loved, Mark, you didn't get to read this in part 1. In part 2, he actually hires bards to sing about him. So his heroism, it's basically marketing. It's basically marketing.
Smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Churchill. I know what history is going to say about me because I'm going to write it.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's some things that are going to happen by chance. And
yes. Yes.
And also, you don't have to make a living on this show, and that's a difference too.
You don't, right? Yeah. And I tell my artists that too. You don't have to make a living from your art. You don't have to market, but then you don't have to make a living from it.
So let me just ask you directly. I'm really curious. Why are you on this podcast?
Okay, so I at the end of last year. And when I was high on cough syrup, I attended those. No, this is true. I attended one of those webinars where they make an offer to you, and I bought the thing at the end. I was like, "What?" And the next day, I was like, when the codeine wore off, I was like, "Why did I buy that?" But it actually is proven to be really good. So it's a database of podcasts and conferences. They don't sell it as a database, but that's basically what it is. So I can search in the database for every podcast with the word creative or creativity, and that's how I found you guys.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
Right.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
The word creative is in it.
Yeah.
And then I read the description, how you had to come with an art. So I was like, all right, I liked this book. Oh, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't do that until I bugged you to do that.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you
That's
came
okay.
back with a good one because I was immediately
Yes.
100% Miriam Renault. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, we actually get approached by a surprising amount of people, but they just want to sell their product, right? They're like, I want to be in your podcast so that I can pitch whatever it is I have to pitch. And I always go back to them. I'll answer them within a couple of hours and say, you can be on our podcast, but these are the rules. This is what you have to do. Most of them do not reply. And I don't care because I didn't want them on anyway if they weren't going to play ball. But you played ball, and I thank you for that.
Well, I mean, also, it was an excuse to talk about this book.
Yeah. What a great book. Yeah.
My friend, I'll tell you who it is, Michael Shine. He wrote the Hype Handbook. He's going to love that I shouted him out, by the way. So he recommends I read The King Must Die. And I got it from the library. And my book had both The King Must Die and Bull from the Sea in it. So I wasn't going to just read halfway. Well, my friend Michael, he's very good at recommending books, but not so good about wanting to discuss them. So I was like, I'm going to get to discuss this book now with somebody.
Well, now, okay, so we're closing in on when we wrap this up. But is there anything more that you want to say about it or your work?
Okay, well, if you're listening to this and you like my ideas, there's more of that on the Inspiration Place podcast, wherever you're listening to Recreative.
Excellent. Mark, what about you? Any closing?
It's Ariadne.
You know, I was trying to save you there. I was going to go back and, re-record and edit that out.
It.
But
it was a senior's moment. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It makes you more human.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. It's fine.
Well, this is a very honest podcast as well. So we're not embarrassed by
also
stuff
too
like
lazy
that.
to go back and read it.
Yeah. Actually, no, it's Arachne. It's Arachne. I still got it wrong.
Oh my God. Miriam Schulman, thank you very much for being on our podcast, Recreative.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
It's lovely to meet you.
You've been listening to Recreative, a podcast about creativity and the works that inspire it. Recreative is produced by Mark Rayner and Joe Mahoney for Donovan Street Press Inc. in association with Monkey Joy Press. Technical production and music by Joe Mahoney, web design by Mark Rayner. You can support this podcast by checking out our guests' work, listening to their music, purchasing their books, watching their shows, and so on. You can find out more about each guest and all of our past episodes by visiting recreative.ca. That's re-creative.ca. You can contact us by emailing Joe Mahoney at donovanstreetpress.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.